Guys, I want to talk about the differences between a prophecy, a gift of a prophecy and a position of a prophet. Now, these are two different things, right? Unfortunately, in most communities and most cultures, they mistake the gift of a prophecy to a position for a position of a prophet. So if someone prophesies, it doesn't actually make them a prophet. It probably means they move in a gift of prophecy. Now, what are the differences? In First Corinthians chapter 12, we see Paul speaking about the 9 gifts of the Holy Spirit that are being stated in the Bible. He speaks about the gift of prophecy as someone who is able to prophesy, not to control, not to change, not to lead or to control or to manipulate the church, but to edify people, to edify someone, to speak. So, out of the gifts of the Holy Spirit, the person is able to speak from a different point of view, from God's point of view about someone, to release a word that will come to happen. Now, that can be done by anyone. By anyone, absolutely, it can be done. Now, it's been done by most Christians because they channel themselves with the love of God and understand the idea of God about someone. So that can be done. You do not have to be called into an office of a prophet. You could be a doctor, you could be a business person, you could be a restaurant owner, I don't know, you could be a taxi driver, you could be a pastor, you could be a lead worship singer, you could be a children pastor, you could be anyone and prophesy out of the gift of the prophecy. Why? Because the gift of the prophecy is a gift. There's nothing you have done to achieve it. There's nothing, it's a gift freely given unto you. So there's nothing out of your own power, ability that you have done to attain that. It is given to you by God as a gift, but it is not a position nor a calling. It is just a gift. Now, if we look at the book of Ephesians chapter 4, Paul was speaking about the calling, a position. Now, we have apostles, pastors, we have prophets, and all of this. There are 5 of them. Now, the position of a prophet is a calling, is a position. It's like a governmental position where a prophet has the right, is being trusted, not to say control the church, but to correct the church, to lead the church. Is more like the position of a prophet is like more of an ear and an eye of the church to see and hear where God is leading the church, where God is leading a country. A prophet prophesies over a church, over a country, over nations. It is a real responsibility. Now, if you are with the gift of prophecy, if you move with the gift of prophecy, if you make mistakes, it's okay. Nobody calls you a false prophet. But if someone says they are a prophet and they make mistakes about a prophecy, now what is a mistake? For example, if I tell you that tomorrow it's going to rain by 3 p.m. and it doesn't rain by 3 p.m., it doesn't mean I'm a false prophet. If I'm the gift of prophecy, probably I just made a mistake about the details. Maybe it rained by 5 p.m., not by 3 p.m. So you see, that's the difference. But the prophet, he doesn't make a mistake. That's what we assume, right? But honestly, as a person, I believe even prophets sometimes they do. But anyway, that's not what we're talking about. So the gift of a prophecy is just a gift, while the position of a prophet is a calling. But nevertheless, both the gifts and the calling are not meant to manipulate people, are meant to be a blessing. The gift of the prophet edifies people. The gift, the calling of a prophet, he exalts. It's just, he changes, he moves, he speaks into a country, speaks into a nation, speaks into a church. Now, what makes a prophet a prophet? Being called a prophet, it's not enough to give you authority over a church, over a country. Being called a prophet means that God has stated you, called you a prophet, but the calling of God is not enough to make you a prophet. over a church. The church has to trust you, believe that you are called to be a prophet, and give you power. So you are being ordained, you are being allowed to be a prophet over a church. You cannot force yourself as a prophet over the church. You can be accepted. You cannot prophesy over a church, but you'll be accepted. You are given the authority to do that. Even if you are called to be a prophet, the same thing happens. Even if you know you have the gift of prophecy, it is not enough for you to walk into any church. That is no ethics of God whatsoever. It is not enough for you to walk into any church and say you want to prophesy and you're speaking in the name of God. Come on, no. If you are not allowed to do that, if you are not given the permission to do that, if you are not welcome, Jesus said, you go, and if you are being accepted in your house, let your peace remain with them. If you are not accepted, you take a peace and leave. So you cannot force yourself into it. These are the two differences. A gift of prophecy is a gift that everyone is one of the 9 gifts of the Holy Spirit that in the Bible everyone can move in. A calling of a prophet is a position, is a calling. Some are called to be pastors, some are ministers, some are evangelists, some are teachers, some are prophets. It is a calling. So these are the two differences between a calling and a gift. God bless you. If you love this video, please like the video. If you want, you can share it. I'm not asking you to share it, but at least like it. And even if you don't want to like it, just write down questions. Probably you have something you want me to clarify concretely about the gift of prophecy, how to move in prophecy, how to activate a gift of prophecy, or even a call of a prophet. I'll be so glad to share that with you. Thank you so much, and God bless you all.